Yours is obviously Tottenham.
No, it's actually not, because then who would I laugh at?
For me, it's Chelsea. Chelsea won the title race a few months ago, and now they're bloody in 6th.
I know.
Who are the biggest bottle jobs of this season?
See, there's a different culture in Italy than there is in the Premier League. So when we're covering Italian football, we always talk about a typical Serie A style striker is someone like Higuain, someone like Mauro Icardi at Inter,
quality striker,
who for 89 minutes is ghosting, and then
one chance.
But just going back to PK for a minute, if you were shagging Shakira every night,
you
need to slow down as well, man.
Exactly. That is true. Lucky man. Yeah.
The only thing I'm jealous of, well, apart from the fact he plays with Lionel Messi as well.
That sounds a bit wrong.
He had a situation a few years ago where the ultras trapped him in the dressing room and basically threatened to kill him.
We think we know sport.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of We Think We Know Sports. You know, it's the show where a bunch of guys just sit in chairs and we discuss the highlights and the lowlights, the sporting gossip, the fact, the fiction, all wrapped up in a bunch of bullshit and banter. Now let's get to our show. Today is a very special episode. We've got a very, very special guest. Someone that we've known for a very long time.
Yep.
Someone that we practically grew up with. I guess we learned a bit of football knowledge from him. We didn't learn all our football knowledge.
I call him Gaffer now.
Oh, he's Gaffer now?
Gaffer.
It's even got a weirder backstory because we know his little brother from school, etc., etc. We won't go into that. Without further ado, I'll let the man introduce himself.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Watched the show a few times. Really enjoyed it. There's some great stuff. So pleasure to be here, guys.
If you don't know, it's Harry Symeou from Chronicles Of A Gooner. Check him out on Instagram.
Twitter's probably the best place, man.
Check him out on Twitter. Follow him on Soundcloud. Give some great content, some previews, some analysis on all the games.
Even if it's about Arsenal, it's good stuff.
Listen, I'm a fan of football, so whatever I can somewhat consume in terms of football content, I take it. So that's it. So obviously your sporting preference is football?
Yeah, without question. To be honest, football is my number one. It's my religion, as I say. I love football, love Arsenal in particular. Do a lot of Arsenal related content, mainly Arsenal related content. And like you said, we do a podcast that comes out twice a week now. So we do a preview show on a Thursday and we do a review show on a Tuesday. So we look back at the weekend's game. We interview ex-players, ex-referees, commentators. Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, Jeremy Aliadier.
I've seen some people, quite a few big names that have been going on there. Like Aliadier is an invincible, right?
He was there at the time, but
I think he got one goal or something.
I mean,
I think he scored against Inter Milan.
If you're there, you're there, innit?
That's true.
I mean, we've had Jeremy Aliadier, people like Martin Tyler from Sky Sports, the commentator.
Wow. Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
So all sorts of guests, really, ex-players, ex-refs, journalists.
So once again, if you don't know, check it out. Chronicles of a Gooner.
Yeah.
FC?
No, Chronicles. If you find it on Twitter, it's at Chronicles_AFC.
We'll try and put a link down somewhere below.
Yeah.
You can follow him. But I ask all my guests here, your male and female sporting influences. Your main one.
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah. Male, I'm going to say Arsene Wenger. I know he got a really hard time. I thought it would have been like
Henry or something.
No, because he was before Henry. Like, obviously.
Yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, when I started watching Arsenal, my first game, I remember it, was in 1996. We got beaten by Borussia Mönchengladbach in the UEFA Cup at the time.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember living in South London at the time, and my dad telling me that I had a dentist appointment and taking me out to school halfway through the day. And
that BDT.
And he didn't want me to know that I was going to the game because he was worried that I would blurt it out at school and get him in trouble.
Yeah.
So that was my first game, and that was
sick day, man.
That was for me the start of it. And Arsene Wenger for me is an inspiration because he achieved so much for Arsenal Football Club. I know in the end it went a bit sour. People started getting on his back, but for me that was disrespectful. There was no need for that. It was time for a change.
This is why I wanted you on the podcast, because I'm glad you've got sense. Because I felt like it was a bit sour the way he went. Like what he's done for Arsenal Football Club was massive.
I mean, the fact that he's not been back to Arsenal since he's left tells you everything, doesn't it?
As in, he's not stepped foot in.
He's not stepped foot at the Emirates Stadium. But
do you reckon that's his stubbornness, or do you reckon it's just something's happened? Or?
I think it's a bit of both. I think he on the one hand, I think he's got enough respect about him to let Unai Emery get on with it
course,
that's true.
without doing an Alex Ferguson and sitting behind him and watching
what you're doing, saying, I'm here just in case. You know what I mean?
Right. And I do think that there's probably a bit of resentment there on Arsenal's part towards some of the fans because yes, results weren't going like as planned towards the end, but he didn't deserve to be hounded out of the club that he essentially built. I know Arsenal was big before that, but he took things up a level, and it's unfair the way he was treated.
Think about Arsenal getting fourth, and they had like Wing was saying,
we spoke on it. They had like Scolacci and Shamax and all kinds of.
And they were still getting fourth. They were still getting Champions League with them kind of players. So you got to give them credit.
I always say credit to Wenger.
And they're playing decent football as always. Arsenal always known for the team for playing sick football.
The best football in Europe.
Yeah.
100%. There was a time where they were battling with Barcelona as the team to play that ticket.
Just think about that Giroud goal against Norwich.
That was so silky.
Then pass.
I mean, there's so many great moments that you can think about sort of during the Wenger days. There were some bad ones too, but any manager that goes somewhere for 22 years is going to have
I got
ups and
bad
downs.
days. Yeah,
22,
absolutely.
You don't even see a run like that anymore.
No, that's not.
Some of them don't even last 6 months.
That's not happening. Yeah.
That's how mad it is. But you didn't give your female one.
Female one.
That's
a hard one for me. Do you know what? Come back to me on that.
Did I even give my one? I don't even. Did I give our one?
I think we're only doing it to the guests, but if you want to give one, you can give it.
I don't know. I say what's her name? Paula Radcliffe? Because she shit herself.
Oh my God. And she continued, didn't it?
Yeah, she continued. You get through shit, man.
Yeah,
you have to get through shit.
No matter what. Shit, literally.
No matter what.
Literally. Okay, fair enough. I can't argue with
I can't think of one, to be honest, but yes.
I had a new group for the question, though.
Done.
If you could get rid of one club in the world, who would you get rid of?
One club, like just what football team?
Annihilate the club.
I know who it is, but yours is obviously Tottenham.
No, it's actually not, because then who would I laugh at when the wheels come off every season? A club that I'd like to disappear. Burnley.
Everyone hates Burnley.
They're just such a insignificant club. They've got no supporters. They've got no money. Yeah. They've got nothing about them.
But they'll cause an upset. That's what fucking annoys me.
Yeah.
They will cause an upset. I hate going to Burnley. Burnley's a good shout.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that, so it's a hard one just to say which club to disappear. I hate Barcelona, to be honest.
I thought you might say Barcelona
because that Iniesta goal in the last minute just killed me.
It still hurts.
That was worse than when John Terry slipped for me. It was horrible.
that burn must have been real then. Myself personally, I reckon it might be Man United. You know, purely on the basis that we'd still be the top club in England if we weren't for Man United.
But you need that rivalry. You need it in football.
I want to be number one in it. That's literally how it
But you
goes.
still won't know, because you know that you're not going to win the league this year.
We are. But we won't get there yet.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. We are winning the league. I've said it here already beforehand.
And you also said you're not going to slip up, which you've already slipped up.
We'll get there, because I want to have a conversation about that. Don't worry.
Okay.
But let's get into some football, because obviously we've got the football man himself.
Yeah, we ain't got no Oyen today, so I'm glad we're not speaking about basketball.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even know how many players there are on the basketball team, so I wouldn't be much help there.
We won't touch on basketball today. I'm sorry. If anyone's looking for the basketball content, hit up Oyen, blame Oyen, message Oyen.
Blame Oyen.
Basically. But yeah, let's get to basically the way I wanted to do it was, since we last spoke, we had the FA Cup and a few Premier League games, and then obviously we hit an international break, so we hit the FA Cup first. That City comeback was pretty phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie.
Against was it Swansea?
Yeah, I thought at 2-0 down it was over. I thought the quadruple was finished. I thought finally someone's got one over on them.
Yeah.
And then they just crumbled.
Did you watch the match at all?
I did. The thing is with Manchester City is that they're a phenomenal football team. They deserve lots of credit for the way they play the game. Don't get me wrong. But for me, you know, they were slightly fortunate on the day because VAR wasn't at the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Had
the
ground.
No.
That's why I was thinking, why that penalty shouldn't have been a penalty. And it was offside. I swear the goal was offside.
Had it been there, the result would have been so different. And you know, but saying that, all great sides need a bit of luck along the way. It's not like it's happening every week. So,
but that is a strange rule, because the rule that the FA had set out was it had to be a Premier League ground for it to have VAR. That's what I heard on TalkSport. And obviously Swansea aren't in the Premier anymore, so they didn't have VAR, and that's why. Because if it had been at City's ground, they would have used VAR.
But the whole point of it is that they don't have it at certain grounds because they say that these grounds don't have the capabilities. Well, Swansea had the capability last season, so why don't they have it this season?
That's true. It's just a money situation,
But one
probably.
thing I had heard, which was somewhat, I'd say, a bit stupid, I guess, it was on TalkSport. They said that Man City should ring Swansea and ask for a replay. And that baffles me completely. My mind is blown that they even suggested such a thing. Like, who's going to add a fixture to their fixture?
I think Arsenal. Was it Arsenal?
The only manager to ever do that is Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
It was a game, I think it was in, it might have been the 97-98 season. Or it might have been
That was the only game, I remember.
And Arsenal were playing Sheffield United at home, and they had a player down, and Arsenal took a quick throw in and went and scored.
Okay.
And that turned out to be the winner. So Arsenal offered to replay the game, and they did.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it's happened before.
Yeah.
I thought this was something
Yeah.
that was ludicrously that they just blew out in the air. I mean,
Fair play to Wenger for doing that, man.
that's crazy. That's something that I don't think you'll ever see again.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to happen. That's crazy. That man is a great in the
But I knew that
football
happened
world, man.
once. I knew it was Arsenal.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't know that at all. We think we know sports. You learn something new every day, I guess.
Yeah.
There was that. There was also so there was a statement that came out from Chris Hughton, manages Brighton.
Yeah.
He said that Premier League survival is more important than the FA Cup. What do you think of that?
Yeah, of course, man.
You reckon?
Yeah, to be in the Premier League, it's just...
But the day...
You're-
so if you were Wigan, remember when Wigan won the Prem and they went down? What
Won
means
the
more?
Prem. We won the FA Cup.
I mean, won the FA Cup, sorry.
We can win the Prem. Come on.
They won the FA Cup and they went down.
Yeah.
That means... I think that FA Cup meant more to them than staying up.
Obviously, winning trophies is a lot, but that TV rights, in the Premier League, you get so much money from TV.
To the common fan, we are genuinely just common fans, the day out is more important.
Yeah.
It is and it isn't. As a fan, you want to see your team go and win stuff. I can tell you, I've been to lots of cup finals and I've enjoyed them. I've also been to cup finals when we've been beaten and been heartbroken.
Drogba.
We don't want to do that. But from a financial standpoint, the FA Cup, winning the FA Cup brings you something of I think it was around £7 million in terms of the TV money that you get along the way and the prize money. Whereas being in the Premiership gives you 50-60 million pounds. And so if you're a football club, you know, and whatever people say, football is a business. It's sad to say nobody wants to talk about the game like that, but that's the reality.
So what was a bit strange for me when I heard it was the fact that they're so close though. They're in the same final.
Yeah,
they're practically there. So it's like you might as well just go all out for it. If you go down, you go down.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to the semi-finals, it's a different ball game because now you're only one game away from the final.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the third round and you've got to go away to Stockport and things like that, you don't want those type of games when you're in a relegation fight. But as the season goes on and you start to say, look, we've got 8 games of the league left and we're one game away from the FA Cup, and I think you've got to go for it.
I think even as a player, I'd take the trophy. You're going to be
you'll
remembered
take the
more.
trophy, but I think as a player, you want to win every match, no matter what. And if you're a team like Brighton, you want to win. You want to stay up in the Premier League.
Of course, I 100% agree with you there. But I'm saying
the only plus
I
is
want my name to be on that trophy. I want to be remembered as that person.
The only plus is if you go down. I guess if you come back the next season and win that playoff, that's the most money in football. Is it 90 million, 100 million if you win the playoffs?
Just what, the final?
It's more than Champions League apparently. That winning that.
That's crazy.
When they say that though, it's a little bit misleading because what they mean is they say the game's worth 90 million to 100 million pounds because of over the next year all the payments that you're going to receive. It's not like
it's not a lump sum.
Here's 100 million.
Okay.
It's kind of during the course of the season, the TV rights and all that, and then when you go down from the Premier League as well, you also get parachute payments to help you out, to help you adapt back to life in the Championship. So, for example, teams that went down last year are receiving money now from the Premier League.
So teams like Sunderland and who else?
Sunderland went down.
Who else went down again? Someone else did that.
Wigan did that.
I think
Wigan did that.
So teams like that. How do they go down? Like Leeds and stuff. How do they go so down?
They get silly with their money, I guess. They don't know what to do with it. And plus, they got players like, for instance, Sunderland had like Jack Rodwell on like 60k a week. Whereas, you know what I mean?
Have you guys seen that Netflix documentary about Sunderland?
I've seen it, but I haven't seen it. But I've obviously seen it on there.
I've just seen Newcastle fans chanting "You cried" on Netflix.
That's quite interesting because it gives you behind the scenes on how a club that went down, and I'm serious when they're talking the first 2-3 episodes, they're talking as if they're instantly going to come back up, and there's no doubt about it. And then you see it all changes,
all crumble. Yeah.
You know, Simon Grayson gets sacked, and then Coleman comes in, and you're thinking, now it's about staying in the Championship. So it's really good watch. Like if you haven't seen it.
I just tried the Pep Guardiola, the Man City one on Amazon. I tried like 1 or 2 episodes of that. I couldn't get into it, to be honest.
Yeah, fuck that. I could only watch my own team, I think.
I heard it's on YouTube for free as well. So
I might have to check that out while I'm checking out We Think We Know Sports.
Yeah.
But lastly, well, somewhat breaking news as well today was, in terms of FA Cup, was United lost, but they did hire Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I've said from before, I thought he was the right man for the job in terms of he knows the club inside out, etc., etc. I feel like now is a perfect time to appoint him on the basis that they can start recruiting for next year already.
He's just a likeable guy. Even though I'm a Chelsea fan, like I like the guy. Like I think that's why that game against PSG, I don't know why I actually wanted Man United to win. It's the first time I wanted another English team to win. It's weird. It was weird.
See, I don't think it's the right appointment.
Really?
Yeah, it might be a little bit controversial, but I think that things got so bad under Mourinho, so toxic.
It couldn't get any worse.
That anybody could have come in and the results would have upturned.
I do agree with that.
I think when you're at a club like Manchester United, it's all about having the right environment on which to succeed. You need spirit, you need togetherness, and I think that had completely gone. I think Solskjaer is not a genius. All he's done is he's come in and he's gone, right, my key players are X, Y, Z, Pogba being the main one. He's put his arm around him and he said, I'm building a team around you, you're key, I need you firing. And Pogba's picked up, the rest of them are picked up as a result around him. And I think that in the long run, basically, I think that United were probably thinking about Zinedine Zidane. He's now joined Real Madrid and they've gone, right,
that's our plan B.
What else are we going to do? Let's go for Solskjaer.
That is true, because as soon as Zidane's been...
That's when the appointment was made.
I also think that they've shot themselves in the foot by making this appointment before the end of the season. Because had Solskjaer got them in the Champions League and it was guaranteed, done and dusted, they would be now a queue of top-level managers knocking on the door for that job. But if Solskjaer fails, then all of a sudden... You've got Solskjaer there, who's very inexperienced compared to some of the other top managers. You've not got Champions League football, and now you're relying on an inexperienced manager to get you back in there. So I think that the timing of it was wrong. If they were going to appoint Solskjaer, fine, do it at the end of the season, though.
That's very true. It could either boost them, or it could add pressure and he could crumble.
The same thing happened at Chelsea when... Who got sacked? One of our managers, AVB got sacked. We brought in Di Matteo, and obviously he won the Champions League, but then like he wasn't an experienced manager. He basically just told the players, you know, that, like you said, put an arm around them.
Do whatever you need.
Then halfway through the next season, he got sacked because we were in like 7th place. So
those kind of managers get found out eventually. And Solskjaer for me got found out in the first leg against PSG. I know they turned it around.
Yeah, but that was a bit of luck.
Somewhat fortuitously, but he got found out for me.
Amongst all this positive talk about Solskjaer, we forget that he got relegated with Cardiff.
Yeah. And what was the other team? That Malmo?
Molde.
I think they're doing all right though.
Yeah.
They won the Norwegian League or something.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he's just left them in the lurch. I'm going on loan to Manchester United. I'm not going back.
But I heard they're going to get a massive lump sum, obviously, of compensation.
They should do, because he's still contracted to that team. So.
But it's a low risk appointment as well, because the contract is not very high from what I know about the financials of it. And you know, if you get Solskjaer, who was at Molde, you're not forced to go and get, you know, say they went and got Pochettino, Tottenham would demand that his contract is bought out and a load of compensation. This is a low cost appointment, I think, and so the risk is not that great, and that's probably played a part in the decision.
So I think it's a 3-year deal as well. Yeah, 3-year deal.
So moving on from the FA Cup, something that I heard and it made me wonder a bit. You probably won't like this too much. This opening of the Spurs ground, obviously it's due for the 3rd of April, but it made me think that Spurs have a big part to play in the title race as well as the City's quadruple. Obviously they got Drew in the Champions League as well, so they have a big part to play in it all. But is this stadium going to be detrimental to Spurs, or is it going to be positive? Because moving into a new stadium isn't always a great thing.
Yeah, that's true. But I think they'll be buzzing for it because they've been waiting so bloody long. Like, But I think they should have just waited to the end of the season
That's
and
what I think as well.
made it like
A whole
open
brand
new
new
season,
thing.
new
Yeah,
stadium.
yeah, exactly.
They're
That's
just
what I
rushing
thought.
it. And plus, have you seen like they had advertisements of like Tottenham Stadium saying, "Oh, the only place to watch football in the Champions League." So they would have like fucked up if they didn't get qualifier.
I don't think. I think moving into a new stadium is very difficult, obviously financially.
Yeah.
From seeing Arsenal do
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's a big problem. And I think we've already seen the impact of it by the fact that they're not signing players.
Yeah.
They quite clearly need a bit more strength in
Just new
depth.
contracts that they're given
Yeah.
out. That's it. Everyone's got a new contract at
Literally everyone
Tottenham.
got a new contract.
That's right, and that kind of that's where they've been smart in the sense that they've protected their assets, but the fact that they haven't been able to strengthen their squad is not because Pochettino believes that squad is good enough. It's because they haven't got the money.
Yeah, he did say out at one point that he wanted more money, didn't he? At some point,
He's
didn't
been
he?
speaking out a lot lately, and
Yeah.
that's what makes me think that he's not going to put up with this for much longer. Like, as an Arsenal fan, it pains me to say he's done a brilliant job there. But how long are you going to keep him happy if you don't back him?
With money, yeah,
you know,
I agree. That's what I thought as well. But Spurs fans are, because Ole's gone to United and Zidane went to Real Madrid, they think that he's secure 100% in his job. He could still go to somewhere like Bayern Munich if they come.
The thing is with Poch though, where it differs to the Arsene Wenger thing as a comparison between clubs having no money being restricted, is that Arsene Wenger at the time Arsenal moved was a 60-year-old man, and probably his ambitions were not
Arsenal.
really there.
Yeah.
Whereas Pochettino is still young, and he'll want to go on and win things, and it's only a matter of time before the likes of Kane and Ericsson as well want to get up and leave.
I
Because
can't see Kane going.
He has to, man.
I can't see
He's
Kane
such
going.
hates me to say he's a world class
You know
striker.
what? The
And
only
if-
way I see Kane going is if Lukaku goes and then United replace him. That's the only place I see him going.
doesn't that show a lack of ambition on Kane's part?
yeah,
then?
exactly.
That's the only place I see
If
him
you're
going.
a player of that caliber, you need to go and win things. He should be winning Champions leagues, whatever. But if you're at Tottenham, you're getting full fifth. No offense, but they always do a challenge. But it's just at the end of the day, it's Tottenham. Like Chiellini said it.
It depends, innit?
He said in one interview, he goes, "Did you worry about not qualifying?" He goes, "Nah, it's just Tottenham. They will come back." You just don't worry about Tottenham.
It's an interesting one. Because if you'll see the effects of it in about, I guess, 2 years maybe, when they don't sign players and if they drop out of that top four. If they don't make top four this year, that could be really bad.
That top four situation just scary for me personally.
And
So
to be honest, we can go there now.
Yeah.
Which is, who is the biggest bottle jobs of the season? Yeah, Chelsea, Tottenham, or Liverpool?
Sure.
It's a bit harsh to say Liverpool because they're still in the title race.
And I agree there.
Yeah.
It's a bit
For
harsh.
me, it's Chelsea. Chelsea were in the title race a few months ago, and now they're bloody in sixth.
I know.
Who are the biggest bottle jobs of this season?
See,
You know that, right?
I feel a bit sorry for Sarri
That's the same, man.
because Sarri quite clearly only plays one way.
Just attack and
and I've watched a lot of Serie A, do a lot of work on Serie A, particularly the last couple of seasons, and his Napoli side had a very clear way of playing, and the criticism he used to get was that he picks the same team every week. There's no rotation. People are burnt out. He's obviously got a way of playing. And Chelsea should have done their homework. They should have known that when they brought this guy in, he was going to need time to embed his way of football, and he needs the players that he wants to play that way.
Exactly.
There's no point in getting on his back now or getting on his back halfway through the season when he's not getting results.
Yeah.
He was never going to challenge for the Premier League
We went
title.
from like a defensive manager in Conte to an attacking manager. What they could expect like straight away. It was working well, but you get found out as a manager, and he needs to adapt. And if Chelsea need to give the guy time to like make it work,
Do you think he'll give it?
it's Chelsea. We don't give anyone time.
That's
But
right.
That's the problem.
I'd love to give him time. I said it before. Like everyone's saying, "Oh, we should sack him now." I'm like, what's the point? We sack him, bring someone else in, a new philosophy. Start again. Just give the guy a chance.
Also, I think Eden Hazard is a bit of a... everyone talks about him being world class, and don't get me wrong, on his day, he's unplayable.
Yeah.
But the problem with Eden Hazard is he only does it when he feels like it.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that is a massive problem because
I agree.
when you look at that Chelsea squad, he's probably the only world class player you would say there now.
Kante.
Yeah, but
Kante's
Kante doesn't fit Sarri's way.
Yeah.
So,
Guaranteed.
but Hazard needs to be doing it every week. And often you see managers where they've got a star like Hazard and that star drags them through the difficult periods. And Hazard hasn't done that.
Yeah,
I think I
that's
said
true.
to you at the beginning of the season that you lot rely on Hazard way too much, and it showed as the season went on. Like
At the start of the season, he was doing well, but he's just dried out. Like literally, a player of his caliber should be getting 20, 30 goals a season. and
but
assists.
That depends on those around him, because those around him, I don't feel like they step up in terms of like Higuain didn't get many goals, or Morata, sorry, as well.
Yeah.
He didn't get many goals. Where's Willian? What's happened to Willian? Ever since that Barcelona bid, he just seems like he's not there anymore.
The thing is, Chelsea's most effective striker for me is Olivier Giroud.
Oh my
100%.
God.
Yeah,
He does not score as many goals as you'd like.
The
maybe.
link-up play with
But
Hazard is amazing.
Exactly.
He holds up the ball, just does little flicks here and there.
That's all you need.
If you see in the Europa League, I know it's not the best teams, but he's amazing. He scored a hat-trick the other week, and he did the next game against Wolves. He was on the bench.
Yeah.
And we had 2 games in hand. We could have got fourth with 2 games in hand.
Do you know what I don't understand?
Lost one game against Everton, then draw the other one.
Why did Giroud leave Arsenal's bench to sit on Chelsea's bench?
I think Giroud's way of looking at it was, at the time, was Aubameyang and Lacazette are here now.
Yeah.
I'm now the 3rd striker in the pecking order in a team that only plays with 1. And at Chelsea, I would have been the 2nd in the pecking order.
Yeah.
But that's changed, because then Chelsea went and got Higuain in, and for me, that's changed. I think that I agree with Ali that Giroud's link-up play is second to none, and he was misunderstood by a lot of Arsenal fans, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So he needs to be used, and you might not get goals directly out of him, but you'll get assists, you'll create chances.
He assisted Trippier, great.
And for me, that is the trick that Sarri's missing at the moment, and I don't understand why. He knows Higuain very well from his days at Napoli. He went out on a limb to bring him in. Higuain is a goal scorer. Yes, he's a good footballer, but has he got what it takes to come into the Premier League at his age now and really
Premier League's
on?
more physical. Premier League's a more physical game, and I don't think he's a great striker, but I don't think he's got it in him. He ain't got the pace.
There's a reason Real Madrid pushed him on and kept Benzema. That's what I think about it.
I also think as well that there's a different culture in Italy than there is in the Premier League. So when we're covering Italian football, we always talk about a typical Serie A style striker is someone like Higuain, someone like Mauro Icardi at Inter,
quality striker,
who for 89 minutes is ghosting, and then
one
pop up one chance and one goal. And in Italy, that's acceptable as long as you get the goals.
Yeah.
But in England, nobody's going to put up with Gonzalo Higuain jogging around chasing shadows. Yeah. And then having one chance. They're not going to have that here. It's
the game's too fast here, though.
It's just a different way of interpreting the game.
Speaking about Icardi, I've heard like some stuff about him, like the fans are against him or something.
Mate, it's all kicking off with
because
Icardi.
he was a captain, but they've given it to Handanovic now, captain.
Yeah, so basically, long story short, Mauro Icardi has had some run-ins with the Inter fans before.
Yeah.
In the past, he had a situation a few years ago where the ultras trapped him in the dressing room and basically threatened to kill him. And then that sort of passed because he wrote something about them in a book where he criticised them. That passed. Everything was going well again. And then he seemed to have had a falling out with the group and the managers Spalletti and obviously the Pallotta. Is it Pallotta? The name escapes me of the director. Yeah. But they just went, you're not the captain anymore. And it's obviously because the players have complained about it. They've taken the captaincy off him. And now he's faking a knee injury. And he's been out for a month and a half pretending that he's got this knee injury. His wife, who's also his agent.
His wife's his agent?
His wife's his agent.
Is that what's it? Maxi Lopez's?
Yeah, that's it. No. Yeah, I mean, his wife is also his agent as well. And she's been on Italian TV on Sunday nights talking about how desperate Icardi is to get back in the team. And he's like a prisoner and he's been a victim. And it's just not helping. And... You know, but the problem is for Inter that they don't really have a capable deputy. So what do? They're going to need to either resolve it or move him on and get the money in.
Yeah, because he's a world-class striker.
He is.
I heard something on terms of Inter Milan and that they plan to demolish San Siro. I heard.
Yes, I was tweeting about this last night actually, and we spoke about it on another podcast that I do, which is called Simply Serie A, every week.
Check that out as well.
Check that out as well. Yeah, we were talking about that last night. What it is. Most of the stadiums in Italy are owned by the government, not by the clubs.
So like listed buildings or
whatever. That's right,
yeah.
So San Siro is owned by Milan, the city. Yeah. It's not owned by the clubs.
Okay.
Now the clubs have been asking for permission to build a new stadium somewhere else, but they've not been given permission in any sites within the city.
Okay.
So they basically have got the arsehole and they want to knock down the San Siro because that's a site that they can use and rebuild. The San Siro is a historic ground and everything, but it's not fit for purpose anymore.
It's proper
it's
outdated,
out
isn't
of
it?
date.
Yeah.
It's old.
Is it?
I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just horrible to think that such a historic stadium
That's
could
what
be
that's what I was saying.
reduced to rubble.
Yeah.
Crazy. But football's changing. There's more money as well, so you need that stadium. You just need it.
In Italy, it's a bit different though, because, for example, Juventus were playing at the Delle Alpi before, which fit, I think, about 65,000, and it was always empty.
Because it was massive track around it.
That's right, yeah. Now they've got a ground that fits, I think, about 40,000.
But the atmosphere is
and
more
it's
buzzing.
full every week. And that's what Lazio are looking to do, Roma.
Yeah, I've been to that stadium. There's the Stadio
Olimpico,
Olimpico.
Lazio and Roma are both looking to build new grounds. They want to build smaller grounds that are actually football grounds. That's what they want to do. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we're going the opposite way here, Tom. We're expanding, so everyone's complaining that our atmospheres are getting worse.
Yeah.
And the fans that we're getting in, because everyone's saying that we're getting like foreigners and, well, I wouldn't say foreigners, because that sounds a bit Brexity, but people from tourists, so to say. So tourists will come and watch games, and they're not actually fans, so to say. Because I know a lot of Liverpool fans tweet about it all the time. All these fans on their phones, and that's
But it's a good thing about Tottenham Stadium. Their start of the where the fans are right. It's literally right next to the pitch compared to like West Ham's or even at the Emirates. The away bit there, it's got that little red bit behind it. It's quite far from the fans.
I think it's hard, isn't it? I don't think any club has got. For example, you talk about Tottenham's ground or Arsenal's ground. I don't think any club has got 60,000 hardcore that go every week. So
you got that. You get one like behind the goals section or whatever.
Right, yeah. It's going to be a little bit diluted, and unfortunately, like I said earlier on, football's a business, and there is more money. At Arsenal, for example, the corporate section, the club level bit, there's a tier that goes all the way around in the middle. That brings in more revenue than Highbury Stadium used to. Just that section.
Crazy.
So that tells you how important that aspect of things is nowadays.
That's crazy. Because football's a day out almost. It's like you can have a business meeting there, watch a game of football.
Most people do that. Like most, rich and whatnot.
Yeah, probably what they do.
Take their clients to a game of football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just a day out. So, all right. So I was listening to TalkSport this week, and they said that the players themselves have chosen the Player of the Year and the Young Player of the Year. So I thought we might as well do it as well.
This year,
it's tough this year.
This year's no one's been too stand out, this year.
I feel there's a few standouts,
you
but
think?
no one stand out in my opinion. Raheem Sterling rings to mind.
Oh yeah, Sterling actually. He's been
personal one for me is Virgil van Dijk, but I feel like he deserves it as well.
Yeah.
Sergio Aguero, he's got goals. He's got the goals where he needs to.
Sergio Aguero is a bit of a victim of his own success. Because he's done it so consistently that when he does do it, you don't really bat an eyelid anymore.
He's never got team of the year, Aguero.
He's never got player of the year either.
Yeah.
Never.
I don't think he's won the Golden Boot that many times either, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he's minimum 20.
Yeah.
20 goals
but I was reading something, I might be completely wrong, but I remember reading something saying that considering how many he scores every season, he's not got that many Golden Boots.
Interesting. But yeah, for this year, who else is there?
I'd give mine to Van Dijk, to be honest. I think he's been a class centre-back this year.
In terms of his individual impact.
Yeah.
And the fact that, let's be honest, it's him that's made the difference to his Liverpool defence.
100%.
Then he deserves a lot of credit for that. It's hard to look beyond him, but Sterling's a good shout as well.
Yeah.
And another personal one for me might be Sadio Mane, because I think Sadio Mane's had a really good season. He's been really good this season. Especially on the fact that I don't think Mo Salah has had a good season at all.
No, but Mo Salah scored a lot of goals. He just hasn't scored as much as last year.
Mo Salah
that was just he had a crazy year he had last year.
But Mo Salah takes when a player takes penalties, I immediately just take away 5 to 10 goals.
But it's like Harry Kane as well, though. Harry Kane scores penalties.
That's why.
But with Harry Kane, you know where he's going to put his penalty, top left, but you can't save him because he just smashes the shit out of it.
He's a good penalty taker, to be honest. Young Player of the Year. That's the one where I could start. I couldn't even think of anyone.
James Maddison's good. He's a good player.
The player that ever wins Young Player of the Year is Harry Kane, and he even wins that.
I think James Maddison was a good shout. He's a good player for Leicester.
That's the Leicester guy, right?
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
That guy for what's his name? Plays for Bournemouth. I forgot his name. Is he?
I know who you're talking about, but I can't
He
remember
destroyed
his name.
Chelsea. Forgot his name. Brooks. Is he a youngster?
Yeah,
I think he's a youngster.
Yeah, I'd class him as a youngster.
Yeah.
Do you know who was supposed to do good was that Ryan Sessegnon, but Fulham just won.
No, yeah, I put a bet on him to win young player and Kevin De Bruyne to win player of the year, but De Bruyne got injured and whatnot, so that just went down a pan.
You should join Losing Football. But yeah, that was a thing. Should we?
What about you, Harry? Who do you think?
Van Dijk for the main one.
Yeah.
For the young player of the year is hard, man. Because it depends where your cutoff is for young players.
What's it, 23, 24?
What's the cutoff? Because Sterling's 24, isn't he?
Yeah, but Sterling's what?
So-
I know.
What is the cutoff? Because
It
Harry
must be
Kane won at 24, I believe.
I'm not sure what it is.
23, I believe.
I need to look that up. I'm not entirely sure, but it depends what the cutoff is, isn't it? Players, from an Arsenal perspective, someone that's impressed is Matteo Guendouzi.
Guendouzi, yeah.
He's a 19-year-old
Yeah.
kid come out of nowhere. I'm not saying that he deserves to win the young player of the Premier League overall,
But he's a young player that's been given a chance and he's been putting in work.
and he's taken those chances, to be fair to him.
That's what I rate about Arsenal. They give them young players a chance, unlike Chelsea, when we give Callum Hudson-Odoi, who he started for England the other day, played well, scored a goal the day before, but he'll come back to Chelsea and he won't play a game.
But then again, the environment at Chelsea is they're going to sack the manager if he doesn't get results. So the pressure is immediately there. So you can't take that risk of giving Callum Hudson.
But I don't understand. Like, and another thing, like we got done for the transfer thing for signing these youngsters. For what reason? We're not going to play them. So why go through all this hassle and signing these youngsters illegally and not playing them?
Yeah, that's
I was having this conversation earlier with someone, but we were talking about it from an Arsenal perspective. But I guess you could use it for everyone. If you're a manager like Sarri or Emery who's come into a new job, how long have you got to make an impact? 2 years maximum?
Yeah.
So are you going to come in and look at an 18-year-old kid who's never proven anything at the top level? Are you going to take the risk and pin your hopes on him? Or are you going to ask the club to get their checkbook out because there's a player somewhere else that you know can do the job for a fact?
Yeah.
You're going to turn to those players, and that's because of the culture of football at the moment. It's so reactionary, it's results based. You need results now, you need them yesterday, not in a year's time.
Like we said, Arsene Wenger had 22 years, Alex Ferguson had 30 or whatever it was. So those are long extended periods. Nowadays I think even if Jurgen Klopp is the longest serving manager in the Prem right now,
Is
if
it?
I'm not mistaken.
I think Eddie Howe's probably.
Eddie Howe is
Eddie Howe.
and that's 4 years.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware.
No,
5
Eddie
years.
Howe was there
Eddie
for
Howe was
ages.
longer. He brought them up the divisions.
brought it up.
5 years.
He was there for ages, but no, he went to Burnley, came back for a year.
Yeah.
He's been
Eddie
there for
Howe's been there a
ages.
while.
He's been there since fucking conference.
I know that
When-
the duration isn't that long. It's 5-6 years max. It's
So
not
Eddie
very
Howe?
long. In terms of the longest serving manager when I read it, it wasn't very long at all compared to what it used to be.
Yeah. As times have changed.
But as well, you could say that one of Arsene Wenger's downfalls was that he trusted certain players too much and for too long because he'd already invested so much time in them. Walcott,
yeah.
Ramsey, Oxlade, Chamberlain, these players. Ramsey's done okay, but there's been other players that Wenger stuck with for 5-6 years and it cost him in the end. So sometimes you need to have a bit of balance.
No-goes.
That's right. That was hilarious.
That's right. You need to have a balance between giving youth a chance but also getting your results now.
Yeah, the only man that got that right was Alex, in my opinion. He used to bring through, what was that, Makeda? He used to bring through like Makedas and all these
do you
people.
know where Makeda is now?
I have no idea.
Makeda is playing in Serie B in Italy.
Really?
And he scored that. Remember that goal he scored for
Against Villa.
Yeah. Oh,
He went to Sampdoria and completely flopped, and he's ended up in Serie B.
And do you remember, was it Giuseppe Rossi?
Oh man!
I heard someone was linked with him last.
Tottenham were
Tottenham were linked with him,
yeah.
innit? Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know where he is.
I think he was last at Villarreal, from what I knew.
Yeah.
But I don't know about
That's
after
one
that.
person that knew how to get the best out of a player. Alex Ferguson.
Yeah,
'Cause look at even Anderson. Anderson's rubbish now.
They won the league and they were playing like Raphael in midfield. Had Carrick. Carrick was good, to be fair. Carrick, and they had like these
They had
average
crazy
Joes.
players, like crazy
Anderson.
players that you think now, you're like, he was playing with these players.
Silvestre. Oh dear.
They also had the referees on their side. They really
Fergie time. Yeah.
But I wanted to do a quick international roundup because we had an international weekend. To be fair, the only thing I really had was obviously Raheem Sterling is shining. Is he England's best talent right now? Should we base our team around Raheem Sterling?
Raheem, Harry Kane. Yeah, I think they're the two top players in our team.
For me, Sterling is the number one now.
Yeah.
I think so too.
And it's not just because I'm an Arsenal fan
Yeah.
and he's a Spurs, but I just think that Sterling's ceiling of how far he can go is a lot higher
Yeah.
than Kane's. I think Sterling could walk into any team and shine. And I'm not saying that Kane couldn't, but the fact that Pep Guardiola's got all these millions at his disposal, yet he still
Stuck by him,
persists
yeah.
and sticks by Raheem Sterling. Means he's seen something special in him. So for me, Sterling is the man for England.
And he just keeps improving and
I feel
improving.
like with Sterling, especially in the England setup, he can assist and score. Whereas I don't think Harry Kane can assist in the England setup.
No, he can do.
I don't see him doing much. Like, he's there to solely score goals, in my opinion.
But he's got more to his game than just
100%.
goals.
He shows that more at Tottenham rather than for England, in my opinion.
I do think though as well that people are reluctant to say Sterling's the number one from a racist point of view as well.
Yeah.
Might be a bit.
You think so?
Yeah, I genuinely do think
Well,
that.
the ugly head of racism came out again during this week of football. It was big news. I don't know really what to make of it. I didn't really see much of it. I just heard a lot about it.
I think after Sterling's goal, he was going like that, so I assumed that something happened.
And then I heard that John Barnes made a statement. It was all over TalkSport and stuff. So I haven't.
But I didn't like that. That took the limelight out of the game, even though that's a big thing. But we won the game, and all you hear was the racism stuff.
And that's what I'm
they
saying.
should do the football first and leave that after, because even though racism's a big deal, you know,
It's a massive deal.
Yeah.
You're kind of giving those guys
exactly,
what they want by
is,
talking
making it a
about
big
it all
thing.
the time. But I was saying this to someone the other day. You're never going to get this problem completely out because it's not a football problem; it's a society problem.
That's one thing, and also these people that do it know it affects the player. So once they know it affects the player, they'll
keep doing it.
Yeah, so I'm going to try.
Just idiots, people that do that kind of stuff.
They're idiots, and also in certain parts of the world, and it sounds horrible, it's the norm.
Oh, no,
so that's why they're doing
I agree with you,
it. I've been to games abroad, and I've seen it.
Same here.
firsthand.
I've been in Italy. I remember one time, like in the Stadio Olimpico, I was sitting there, and the guy they have guys that come around giving out drinks and stuff. The guy was black, and then Jorginho was playing, and the away fans were like, he was walking past, and Jorginho was they making bloody hell. They were making like monkey chants. I was like, what the fuck? There's a black guy right here. They're doing that. I couldn't believe it, and the guy was just getting on with it like it's norm.
That's the thing.
It's horrible.
I've been abroad and I've seen it. And the people I was with, I turned around, I was like, I can't believe that's going on.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it's wrong, but it just happens. Like, and that is so wrong. That is a problem with these.
And as an athlete, what do you do? Like, there have been talks, I heard, that because obviously something about like Gareth Southgate came out and said sorry, or he apologized.
No, he said that he was going to keep on reporting it. As soon as it happens, and he
said that he felt like he should have done more, and he apologized to his players. That he felt like he should have walked off the pitch or something. That's been a lot of talk recently in saying that players should walk off the pitch.
I think I don't think it should. The people that do it should be punished.
Yeah.
But I think the best way for the athletes to handle it is to not let it affect them. And I know it's easier said than done.
Easier said than done, but
Balotelli said something today. I don't know if you guys have seen
the
it.
monkey thing.
They asked Balotelli about it, and he goes, "I don't mind being called the monkey because the monkey's smarter than the people that are doing that."
And that's something that you got. When you start putting statements like that out, they start feeling more and more stupid.
That kind of response for me is a fight back, and that's what you need, rather than I'm gonna cry and sulk because this has happened to me. Like, it's wrong, and I can see why these people get angry. And I would, if I received 100%. it, I would be furious. But you got to be smarter about the way.
Yeah,
like, don't fuel these people to do it more.
Exactly, it's better to get them back and like score against them, like what Raheem done, or do something like that. So
that's it. Yeah, do a celebration. Show them that, like, you know what.
Oh, you're calling me this? I'll score against you.
Exactly.
Fuck you.
Exactly.
But that's the only last thing I had, which was somewhat strange. Gerard Piqué retired from the Spain team and joined the Catalonia team, which I find mad strange. Like, Catalonia has a team now.
Can you do that though? Can you retire?
I found it really odd.
I think you can do that until Catalonia start playing officially in tournaments.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, until they're affiliated.
But that's not going to happen for, that's not going to happen, is it?
I don't think so. Nah. But he was like the only professional that actually played. They said that if Catalonia was to actually become a nation to play football, Lionel Messi could play for them as well.
He's been there long enough.
So that'll be interesting.
He's been there long enough.
But it's a strange one. That was the last thing. The
only thing I knew was that Scotland got battered by Kazakhstan.
Yeah, that's
3-0.
Yeah, but Scotland got battered? Didn't Argentina get battered as well by like Venezuela or something, or someone?
Possibly.
I'm not sure about that. Yeah. But just going back to Piqué for a minute, if you were shagging Shakira every night,
I'd
you need to slow down as well, man.
Exactly. It's true. Lucky man. Yeah.
The only thing I'm jealous of, well, apart from the fact he plays with Lionel Messi as well.
That sounds a bit wrong.
That sounds very wrong, doesn't it? I'll run with it. But the return of the Prem, thank God, because I've missed football so much. Like I can't stand international football; it just bores me so much.
Yeah, unless it's the main competition, I couldn't
like
give a
even
flying.
the qualifiers, I cannot be bothered. It's just like, do I really want to see Moldova and Andorra's? And no, I can't.
I actually watched Holland versus Germany.
I watched that
That
match.
was a really good
But
game.
those are like bigger
Van
games. innit?
Dijk
Those
got ripped by Gnabry. Van Dijk had a
I
shocker.
don't mind as long as you don't come back to bring it back to Liverpool. Don't need to worry for Holland. It's Liverpool.
It finished 3-2, right? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Germany 3-2.
But then the Dutch battered them a while back.
It was. Oh yeah, was it 5
4-0
or something like
In
yeah.
the UEFA Nations League, isn't it?
Yeah.
What happened with that?
I think they do another round when I think England got promoted to the top division. I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
It's
there's now
confusing.
two semi-finals.
All right, so
So England play against Holland, I think, in one.
Okay.
I can't remember who's
But
in
if
the
I
other one,
was
but-
not mistaken, the winner of the Nation League automatically gets qualification, right? So what's the point of doing qualifiers?
Just in case,
No,
mate.
I think it gives you a position, but through a playoff, I think.
It's so
This whole
confusing.
nation,
Yeah,
But
it is
I like a league. It's better to do a league, I think. It's better than having international friendlies, for instance.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's more to play for, more to watch.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
It's a bit more
I
competitive.
know there's less teams, but in South America, that's how they do the qualification for tournaments. They have a league with all the teams. I think it's about 10, 12 teams.
Yeah.
And they all play each other twice,
Yeah.
which is a little bit more competitive.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is. That's much better.
It's difficult in Europe because you've got so many
So
teams,
many,
but
yeah.
maybe split it into two.
Split it to sections,
Yeah.
east. Yeah.
But like I said, returning to the Prem, I picked out. There was only really two standout games for me, which was City and Fulham. Which is basically City going to go back to the top, in my opinion, because Fulham aren't good anymore. I think they're going down.
City just got, but against the teams that are fighting relegation, they put up a better fight, and plus they've just got Scott
Fulham
Parker as manager.
Fulham played Liverpool and they have no fight.
But you never
I
know.
watched that one. They have no fight. Literally no fight at all.
Weren't it 3? They weren't they winning for a bit or no?
No,
was it
they won 1-1.
Oh, yeah,
Van Dijk,
okay.
they had that little
That's
thing.
a-
That was good. That was going to be Van Dijk's slip. That was
Yeah.
our slip this season. But we recovered from that, thank God.
You're playing Tottenham this weekend,
Yeah,
so.
and that was the other game. I can't really pick a winner on that one. I'm not going to lie. I
But
think
Tottenham
that might
have
be
got a
draw.
shaky record at Anfield, to be honest.
I think it might be a draw.
Yeah, I hope Tottenham win because I just don't want to see Liverpool picking up that league.
Ooh, I think we're still going to win.
There's a picture, like when the Sky Sports come on, you see whoever holding the
Yeah.
cup. Imagine Jordan Henderson.
And that's what I don't want. I want Virgil van Dijk to lift it, man. I do not want to see him. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I don't want to see Henderson lift it. That's just
Yeah.
being honest.
He might get
Van
injured.
Dijk would definitely deserve to win it.
Mm.
But yeah, those are the things. Who are Arsenal playing this weekend?
Arsenal play Newcastle on Monday night at the Emirates.
Okay.
So I expect us to win that one.
When's
But
your preview coming out?
we actually did it the other day. We did it. It came out on Wednesday. It's out now.
Okay, so check that out if you can.
And we did it with a football journalist that works and covers Newcastle. His name's Harry Symeou. He's really good.
Nice.
So we've got some insight on Newcastle. But we've done a few commentaries on them this season. And both of them have been away games. One was at Chelsea, one was at West Ham. And they're just so negative away from home. They're going to
Really?
come and play 5 at the back, 3 across the middle. Yeah, it's just going to be one of those evenings where we're going to, if we don't score early, it's going to be really, really frustrating. So, we need to get over the line. It's a chance to go into third, I think, as well.
Ooh, that top 4 battle now is looking so.
Yeah.
It's like top 2, then it's like between 3rd and 6th, and then no one cares about mid-table. And then there's like a relegation battle between, I think, 18th and up to like 15th.
Yeah, I think you got Cardiff, Burnley, Southampton. and
Yeah, all of them can fall in.
Newcastle as well, or are they a bit out?
Newcastle, I think they've just done enough.
As soon as you hit that 40 point mark, you're basically safe.
I think they're on 35, Newcastle. I think they need 2 wins. So they might be 34. I think they need 2 wins.
They'll
daily.
be safe.
That's the only club in England I actually feel sorry for.
Newcastle,
Yeah,
because they're just so shit.
I just feel like they have so much potential in that club for them to do so much more.
The
but they
owner's
don't.
just a tosser.
Yeah,
He's
everything that's about Mike Ashley just bugs me. I just don't know what it is. But that's all I really had for football this week. Anyone else got anything to touch on?
No, not really, man.
As we
Covered it
said,
all.
we're not doing basketball, so I'm sorry. The only thing I have to say is really the Lakers didn't make the playoffs. Lakers didn't make the playoffs. Devin Booker is the 3rd Splash brother.
Blah blah blah.
And that's really about it, really. I don't really have much else. Conor McGregor retired. Anyone got anything to say on that?
I don't believe he's retired.
I think he'll be back. He'll be back, man.
Did you hear about the allegation that he has against him?
What, the phone slapping? He beat up what?
Apparently he's got a rape allegation. That's the reason he retired. So the UFC are putting that, so they're making him retire so he can deal with that, and then obviously if he clears that, then he'll come back.
When he runs out of money from fighting it in the courts, then he'll be back.
Yeah,
I think he'll be fighting soon, to be honest.
Dunno.
Because he had an interview like not long ago. He said he's going to fight in July. He had like.
Well, then it's definitely due to.
I think he will come back from retirement and he'll have like Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor 3, and that'll be it. That's what I think he's going to do. Because he can't beat.
Let me find this article quickly.
He can't beat what's his name, Khabib. Khabib's too good for him. He just schooled him. I don't know who else there is to fight apart from Nate Diaz trilogy.
That'd be good though. I'd like to see that.
Because that was the best UFC, one of the best UFC fights I've seen. Number 2.
This is from the New York Times. Conor McGregor is under investigation for sexual assault. And that's the reason why he quit.
No, you don't know that for a fact though. It's just papers. Papers always say stuff.
I mean, it was going around everywhere. Literally.
You never
A lot
know.
of people have been saying it. So I wouldn't be surprised, man. Conor's a menace. Conor's out here doing so much madnesses all the time. He's just a menace. But that's what you get from fighters. Look at Mike Tyson, he did the same. But, alright, we're going to wrap things up fairly soon. But we're going to hit our last, probably my favourite segment of the week, Pitch of the Week.
Oh,
Has
shit.
anyone thought about this?
I totally forgot.
I've got a really good one this week, I'm not going to lie. So my Pitch of the Week goes to Adrien Broner. Anyone hear what happened with Adrien Broner?
Nah, man.
Do you know Adrien Broner? He's a boxer. Yeah.
So Adrien Broner's a boxer. He fights in America. Basically, we'll have a conversation about this somewhat after I tell you.
Yeah.
So Adrien Broner, there's a guy called Andrew C. Caldwell. Now I have nothing against gay people, but this man he's the delivered man. So he's gone from homosexuality to becoming straight again. He claims that he's the delivered man. So he went on social media and he went to Adrien Broner. I really think you look like a gay person, etc., blah, 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 blah. And then he put a statement out, like a picture of the DMs, basically. Adrien Broner replied with a crazy homophobic rant. He was like, if I see anybody do some gay stuff to me, I'm going to shoot him, I'm going to punch him, I'm going to kill him, blah, 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 blah. It was crazy. Then from there, Adrien Broner and him went back and forth. The guy, Andrew C. Caldwell, just went, I'm going to the police. He went, he's going to sue Adrien Broner. So Adrien Broner now, this is what I want to talk about. And this is the reason why he gets Pitch of the Week. Why can't these athletes stay off social media? What is it about social media that is so appealing to you? You have millions. Go out and do something.
I think with social media, you've got to... It's so difficult to not get involved in it. For
it's
me,
just there. It's just on your phone.
Yeah,
Boom.
I mean, I done something a few weeks ago before the Arsenal-Tottenham game on Arsenal Fan TV. And it was like a show. We were sitting down in a room. We were talking about Unai Emery. And at the time, I was saying that, yes, he's done some good things, but defensively, we're still shaky. There's still a few problems there. And it's only since we got the draw at Spurs and we beat United that everyone went, oh, yes, Unai Emery's doing well. And the point, like, there was over 1,000 comments and I was called every name under the sun. And you know what the biggest mistake I did was I read them. I read the comments and I started replying to some of them and I got dragged into it. And I've learnt my lesson now. I get so many comments on social media and I'm just going to brush it under the carpet.
You have to.
Because it's not worth going home to your family and friends and being in a mood.
Because what some twat said online.
Because some keyboard warrior who's 13 years old
and that's
sitting in the other side of the world behind his keyboard has called you a name. So it's I can see what you mean. He's an idiot for getting involved.
He's got a restraining order.
But
He's always got a case now. That's why he gets my Pitch of the Week.
Imagine you having a bad day as well and you see these comments, fuck, this guy's getting it. You know what I mean?
And some of them are so personal, man. Like someone tracked down the email address of my podcast and sent an email saying, I hope your kid dies. I mean, this is the level of people that we're talking about. People would go to these
people like this page.
So it is hard to not retaliate sometimes.
Well, we're going to get some of these comments coming our way sooner or later as well, so we better be prepared for it.
When you do it, means you're going well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you get hate, it's love.
I guess. But yeah, Adrien Broner is definitely a Pitch of the Week for that homophobic rant. I don't know what that was about. Basically, just stay off Instagram and Twitters. You're professional athletes. You have millions of dollars and pounds. I don't understand what the fascination is. All it is a bunch of people that are just giving you a bunch of bullshit, and you just report.
Yeah.
And tend to get in trouble more time. you either have players that spend so much time, like Paul Pogba spend more time on his social, and everyone was slating him while he was in the Jose
No, he's
Mourinho
too
time.
busy doing his celebrations
Yeah,
and
no,
his.
it's like,
People like Pogba, Ozil, because a lot of people talk about Ozil social media. Mate, they've got PR teams doing that. They're not doing that.
that's true.
They're not like that. Do you remember when Mourinho got sacked and there was a thing that Pogba put out straight after?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, it's disrespectful," and then it got taken off. Well, Pogba's PR team probably had that scheduled
100%,
to go
that
out,
one
and then
is-
it's happened. Then they've gone, "Shit, let's take it off." It's not Paul Pogba sitting
Yeah.
on his phone. Like, I highly doubt that he
But
goes
some of
home
them
and sits
are.
there.
Some of them, it is the player.
Yeah, some of them are, but some of them they don't. You know, it's just, they just don't give a toss.
Depends. It's just that whole social media era, because you can't make a bad move nowadays as an athlete, and that's what's
Everything's so
hard as
PC, so you have to be on point.
well. Like the players of old were going out drinking late nights, and they were partying, and they were doing all kinds of drugs and stuff, and no one knew because there was no phones, there was no social medias, there weren't none of that.
The times have changed though.
Times have completely
Yeah.
changed, but that's the way it is now.
Yeah.
Anyone got pictures of it themselves?
Dude, I can't think of anyone who's been like. There ain't been no football like obviously international.
Yeah, I guess.
I say I give my pitch to the bloody Montenegro fans for being idiots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
because you know what I mean. I
For
can't
being
think of anyone.
racist. I had another one actually, but you the guys will probably understand. It's a Brown thing. To all my Brown listeners, I don't know if anyone saw in the IPO. There was like. So
I
basically-
saw it. No, I
Did
saw
you
it.
see that?
I saw that. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with
It's
what he
bad
done.
sportsmanship though.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
horrible
not.
sportsmanship.
You do it in
you know what it
rounders.
is? It's exactly what Harry said earlier. It's about the quick throwing, and someone scoring. It's exactly the same principle.
Basically, this guy was, you know, in cricket, obviously this guy's going to throw the ball, and the batsman,
So the batsman walks.
the batsman near us, he's done a little quick walk to try
He
get
gets
there.
out of the crease.
As soon as he's walked, the bowler's gone. No, I'll stamp you out.
Yeah,
Like a little cheeky
that's just
one.
horrible. It happens
It's
so
a cheeky
often
one.
in the
I
game.
think that's quality.
That's a good
think
thing.
that's quality.
In football, what happens? You see when a goalie throws the ball out and someone hides behind the goal, and then he'll come up and who done
Yeah.
it?
I've seen that. I've only seen that once though.
No, I've seen that a couple times.
Or like Thierry Henry
Yeah,
used
he
to take
tried
a
to-
free kick before the goalkeeper was ready.
He done it against Peter Cech. I remember that
Because the
Yeah.
ref has given him permission,
Yeah.
he's ready. The keeper's still messing about with his wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's like
he's-
they do it with corners as well. They just touch the corner and like, someone walk up to it and just start running with it.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
that one. I've seen that. But that's not the same level
is the
of.
same.
Nah, that's not the same level of deceit. What I put this down to in
It's
my
just being
personal,
clever, man.
it was like a player getting injured, you kick the ball out, and instead of giving it back, they go and score.
Yeah,
That's
but
the same level of
it's not my good. But
bad sportsmanship, in my opinion.
the batsman's trying to get an advantage by running quickly.
But it happens every ball.
But it's not his
Like
fault.
every ball across the world. Like even when I listened to Talk Sport and they were talking about it, they said, I think someone phoned up and they said they had a bunch of like it happened in a game, and the man it's a legit wicket. So
Exactly.
he's supposed to go,
There's nothing wrong with that then.
but he walked off, and they said both captains came together. They said, "No, that's bad sportsmanship. Call him back. We'll play it." That's the way it should have gone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like I'm warning you, don't do that.
Thought that.
But let's just carry on with the game.
No, the guy done well. I think he had every right to do what he done.
I was gonna give him pitch of the week, but Adrien Broner definitely got it for me.
Yeah.
Harry,
No.
no?
It's a hard one, isn't it? I'm gonna give it to Ronald Koeman actually for celebrating like mad when Holland come back.
Really? I didn't
oh, yeah,
see
they
it.
got back to
He
2-2.
really got excited when
Really?
Holland come back to 2-2,
I didn't
and
see
then
it.
Germany went down the other end and made it 3-2. So
Yeah.
he looked a bit silly there. So I'm gonna give it to him.
Yeah,
fair
that was a quality game.
Well, I think that's enough for what we think we know sports for this week. If you haven't already, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We think we know sports. WFK Sports, probably W's. Check out Chronicles of a Gooner. Check out Simply Serie A. This is Harry Symeou. This is We Think We Know Sports. What do you know?
Are you Harry Symeou?
This is Harry Symeou. This is We Think We Know Sports. What do you know? Peace.
Peace. Sweet.